All right, let's dive into the metaverse today. And of course, one of the places that we always look for new and exciting projects is around the NFT space and how they connect to games. And that's one of the things we'll be breaking down today. We'll do a deep dive. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Joining me today is Mariam Nusrat, which is the founder of Grid, which is a company called Gaming Revolution for International Development on a project called Breshna. So I want to learn a lot about this, Mariam. So let's just bust into it and tell me about Grid and Breshna in general. What are you guys trying to do over there?
Awesome. First of all, Paul, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. I'm a fan. I watch the show often, so super excited to be here. I am the founder of Grid, Gaming Revolution for International Development, which is the company, and we've built a no-code platform that allows everyone to be a game developer. So Breshna, the word, actually means lightning in the Pashto language, which is my mother tongue. So the big idea is video games at lightning speed. So think of it like the TikTok for video games. So just like TikTok made everyone someone who could make videos and share it and with all their friends and family, this is Breshna, which is TikTok for video games, where you can go on breshna.io and create your own video games, choose some templates, and create your own video games without any coding or design skills.
So, all right, so making things easy in the space of blockchain gaming is one of the biggest challenges that we've seen in the space so far, because a lot of scenarios kind of play into this, whether it is a play to earn model that is using some sort of derivative wallet, or it has some sort of connective tissue to maybe another existing mainstream wallet, whether it's a Phantom or of a MetaMask or something of that nature.
Right.
How are you approaching the play to earn aspect and or the NFTs? Is it going to be just digital asset rewards, or what's the economy built on for how these structures would be built?
Absolutely. So, Paul, for us, the Web3 play, so if you think about it, the first layer of Breshna was that anyone can create their own video games and they can share it. So, as of today, in the Web2 world, the way you share that video game is you get a URL link and you can send it on WhatsApp or on your
Right.
message or in an email. Now, as we've been talking to our users, we've had 4,000 video games made on the platform within the last 2 months, and we were like super young. And one of the things that people continue to ask us is on the input side, can I put in my own digital art? Can I upload my own asset? Can I upload my own NFT and put it into a video game? So that's on the input side. And then on the output side, can I have a place where I display the game that I've just made? And can it be a place where my community comes together? So when we
Right.
heard those two asks, what we ended up creating is on the input side, there's an NFT marketplace where you will be able to use avatars, backgrounds, music, both introduced by the Breshna team, but you can also bring in your own. So if you have a Bored Ape or a Lazy Lion, you can work with us and we will integrate it, animate it, and you can put it into a video game like Super Mario, where your Bored Ape is running around and catching things that you wanted to catch and dodging things that you wanted to dodge. But then on the output side, you go into the Breshnaverse, and that is a virtual carnival. So just like real life, where you go into carnivals to play short games in real life, in this case, you'll makers will be able to display their games in the virtual carnival, and players will be able to play these games within that carnival and within that Breshnaverse. So the whole, if you think about it, maker, player, contributor on the user side, and then the game maker, the marketplace, and the virtual carnival. And there's a whole
Right.
token flow between all of them.
All right, so make sure I get this right. So you're saying that essentially, whether it is traditional NFTs, maybe the future of where smart or dynamic NFTs are rolling out, that NFT integration into these games is possible now. Is that correct?
Yes, so we're working on that right now. So today, the Web2 version is live on Breshna.io, where you can make your own video games. Within the next 3 months, we plan to launch the Web3 part of Breshna
Okay.
along with our token. And that's when you will be able to upload your own NFTs and put them into your own video games.
All right, so it'll have the same component in terms of utilizing NFTs. Are you planning on within the games themselves, are you planning on doing any kind of NFT digital asset rewards or any kind of mechanism that would start to create value for both the game creators and the game players?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, Paul, and actually you taught me this, so that's pretty cool, is not just play to earn, but play with and earn, right? I mean, so for us, what was really important was we have this ecosystem going. We have players that are engaged. We have makers that are engaged on Breshna. And for us, it's saying, so now think about it. You are making a math video game and you
Right.
wanted to upload your own, board ape into it. So now you're making a game on odd and even numbers, and you upload your board ape into it. Every time that game gets played, you get a token reward. But
Okay.
also, if you've made your board ape public and someone else uses that ape into their own video games, then you also get a reward. So basically, it gets this circular economy going. I'm an economist by academic training, so supply and demand are super fun to me. So you get the circular economy going between the makers, the players, and the contributors, where every time you get more engagement, then that's how the token reward works.
So much like a smart contract with an NFT where the creator gets a residual, so to speak, on every transaction that's moving around, you're saying that a game
Exactly.
creator could essentially do the same thing.
Absolutely. And not just
Okay.
the game creator, but everyone who put the inputs into the game. So the
Right.
contributors. So that's where it's not only a make to earn, but a play to earn and a contribute to earn within the Breshna economy.
Yeah. So would this be like just a JPEG NFT integration, or would you be bringing in the metadata from the NFT as well? I mean, if you think about how, let's use Twitter, for example, that's an easy one for people to
Yeah.
recognize. You can integrate your NFT, your smart contract data is literally right there on, if you are using your NFT as your profile pic, you can click on that. Smart contract data is there. I don't know how Twitter is planning to use that in the future, but in gaming, that is going to be really big, especially if smart contract starts to becoming dynamic or we see more interactive metadata starting to happen in games. Will all that work within the game architecture that you're building here now?
Absolutely, Paul. So while the first step that we've been piloting has been more, hey, let's just do the JPEG, right? I mean, let's just at
Mhm.
least have the image and animate it. The metadata is where it gets really dynamic and exciting because, like you said, all of these NFTs come with their own features. So, what we want to allow people to do is it allow that integration of the video game to be as dynamic as the NFT originally. And that's
Mhm.
also where the smart contract within the Breshna economy that goes with that NFT becomes like an add-on, like a layer on, where now
Yeah.
you're able to not only, have your NFT, but then have it animated and then get a reward for every time it's used.
All right, so let's talk about wallets because that's always a big deal. If you think about Axie Infinity and the kind of hoops you have to go through to be an Axie player, to eventually get to a Ronin wallet, the process through MetaMask, even if you're doing some staking, it's a bit of a feat for a traditional person. What you're talking about is a DIY game developer that essentially is having to plug into some very sophisticated blockchain technology, meaning the wallets. Are you guys layering in that stack for tech to make it just super easy? Check mark MetaMask, check mark Phantom Wallet. How will that work?
Absolutely. So I think one of the cool things, Paul, is we're actually going through a capacity building program. One of our investors is Blockchain Founders Fund, and they were also investors within Splinterlands, right? And if you
Yep.
look at it, Splinterlands has actually kind of done a similar thing where even when you go on Splinterlands, you can choose credit card, and
Right.
and that's kind of a Web2 payment, right? But at the back end, it creates the wallet for you. It creates the stack for you so that your transaction, if you're not ready for the Web3 world, you can at
Mhm.
least start transacting within the Breshna economy. And this is
Within
super
a
important.
fiat system, but you're talking about a fiat on ramp right there, that which is going to involve probably some of the worst fiat on ramps I've seen are things like MoonPay, some of those projects where there's exorbitant fees, all those kind of things. I can't imagine that traditionalists now, maybe in certain layers of adoption, we might see people saying, "Hey, yeah, let's go with fiat on ramp." But is that really going to be the entry point, or do you feel like
So think
the wallet model would be better?
Yeah, so at the same time, so while you're putting in a credit card, the wallet does get created at the back end, right? And you
This
will
is a
get your
wallet
seed
within the
phrase
game, a
within the
wallet within
game.
your game? Okay. So
Exactly. So
would
there's a
this be a
wallet that
Breshna
gets.
wallet?
At the moment, we're looking at integrations, and this is, Paul, I think, part of the white paper. So I don't even know. I mean, this is whether this is going to go live or not. But like, I mean, we are looking at few different options for integrations, but we are also looking at a Breshna wallet. But the
Okay.
idea would be that you would have a wallet that does get generated. You do get your seed phrase for it, right? So everything that you're doing is going into your wallet. It just depends on whether you're ready to then extract the value outside of Breshna or not, right? So a Web3, now again, if we go to the EdTech example, the teacher example, she
Mhm.
will be able to participate in the Breshna economy with the NFT marketplace, within the game maker, with the
Gotcha.
virtual carnival. But if she wants to extract the value, that's where the wallet comes in. And that's where she would have to become a Web3 user. But before that, there's nothing stopping her from communicating within the Breshna economy.
Yeah. So what blockchain structures are you guys looking to work with, or maybe you're already developing on? What direction are you going to be going for this program?
So I think, Paul, this is where developers right now are almost spoiled for choice, right? It's like, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, some of the ones that we've been considering, Solana, Flow, Tezos,
Yeah.
Polygon, I mean, these are all the ones where they've been very big, especially within the gaming
Mhm.
world. For us, what's really important is obviously developer ease. So for that, for instance, Flow is very visual. It's very friendly for developers. Our entire developer team is international, and they're all very comfortable with languages like that. Solana, on the other hand, has a very large community, but then, as we
Yeah.
know, it had a few issues recently. So we're very close to making a decision, but we're also in conversations where we might get developer support to build the project.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's going to be fun to watch because I think as we see Web3 projects roll out, especially from the transition of, have you guys looked at AVAX at Avalanche?
I was actually, yeah, and we looked at AVAX, and we looked at one of your interviews for AVAX, and I think I completely agree that that's another option that could be
Interesting.
something that we consider. Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because this is a challenge that a lot of Web 2 developers have is being able to get that Web 2 stack essentially in a position to where it can roll into Web 3, and those transition elements that you have, whether it's code-based development or transitioning existing code into a Web 3, somewhat mock-up or into a place of where you can at least launch a product
Right.
and get to an MVP. Some of those projects are, you kind of have to build from start, as you probably know,
Right.
versus
Right.
some projects, they're a little bit more tuned in to trying to transition Web 2, which I think
Exactly.
is a big challenge for the industry because there's so much Web 2 tech stack out there today that it's not like you can just throw that away and not, kind of leverage what's been built. So a
And
big
I
one for
think,
sure.
Paul, for us, that's very relevant, right? Because we have built everything on Unity, we have the users, we have the
Right.
community, and what we don't want to do is start from scratch, and that's
Yeah.
exactly where the tech requirements will come in.
All right, so let's talk about game genre. What are kind of the next game genre? I was looking at back to your website here. I want to close out this demo here real quick, but I just want to go over here to the Make Your Game section. So, you've got some, guess the word, learn with letters. Most of these are fairly simple game structures. Are you looking at trying to escalate or create new game genres within Breshna?
I love this question, Paul. So I think a little bit of history here might be really. I mean, it might be useful for the viewers. So we did when we launched our MVP in July. We were simply throwing spaghetti at the wall, and we wanted to
Right.
see what sticks, right, and everything. And it was a game jam for 96 hours, and we had 6,000 people that made 1,000 video games. And
Whew.
one of the biggest fears, yeah, it was wild to us, right? But we were almost scared because for us it was this fear of, oh, is it too simple, or are they going to be too bored very quickly and everything. And what was surprising to us, Paul, what was really valuable to our audience was actually the flat learning curve. So, people, if you look at the game industry right now, this idea that you can go on and create a video game in less than 4 minutes and get your game out there, most of the solutions that exist in the industry are actually low code, not no code. They
Right.
are catering to a developer audience. So, they're not really talking about your non-tech, non-gamer, non-web3 person who does believe in the power of video games. So we've
Right.
seen games that have been created in different languages, and this is something huge with Breshna, is that because you just write out text, whatever your keypad is in, you can
Hmm.
actually use that language. We've seen games in Arabic, Urdu, Spanish, I mean, just a whole host of languages. But then this idea that it's a flat learning curve was really important to us. So
Right.
at the
Hmm.
moment, we are focusing on the hyper casual genre of games, which is also the fastest growing. So if you think
Yep.
about it, your average gamer is not your 22-year-old sitting in the basement playing Call of Duty. It's a 35-year-old woman on the metro playing Candy Crush, right?
Yeah.
And who is making games for those and who is creating content creation tools for those? So that was the focus. However, as we move forward, we do plan to add a little bit of a more sophisticated layer to the templates. And this is also where the contributor model will come in, where we'll ask crowdsource from the developer community templates that can be uploaded on Prashna, and then they get rewarded for it with the tokens. But to us, it is important that the lowest hanging fruit is this hyper casual genre of games.
Right.
Wordle right now is blowing up, right? And it's a
Hmm.
simple game. And I mean, and we just created a template for people to make their own Wordle, and that was quick, but it just catches on.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that people miss a lot in the gaming sector is that if you look back into the social game, whether it was, what Facebook was able to do with gaming, what Zynga has been able to do with gaming, really thin layer code dev, but has that great appeal to the masses, which if you think about gaming, sure, there's that, sure, yes, there are the esport gamers, then there's the
Right,
streamers that are the typical AAA titles that are
right.
using some pretty, and then I think you're going to see a certain layer of blockchain and Web3 games that kind of rise to that pinnacle of where gaming will be for blockchain. And then you're going to have the
Right.
same layer of what you're talking about, which is the Zynga Facebook layer of more casual gaming approaches. So I think you guys are onto something there. All
Thank
right,
you.
let's talk a little bit about kind of the marketing aspect of this because this is so easy to use. And I was just looking at your demo video. Very simple, great interface, by the way, good design.
Thank you. Thank you.
What what do you see in terms of the potential for marketing here? Because I could see brands going this direction. I could see companies, even, for training, games to make
Right.
HR and training aspects better. Where are you guys going with this from a marketing standpoint?
So, one of the beautiful things, Paul, about when you create a content creator platform, your users take it wherever they want to take it, right? So, what we've seen is so we've been building in public, and basically that means that we've been building with our Bolt squad. Breshna
Hmm.
means thunder and lightning, so Bolt squad carries our thunder. So our Bolt squad has been with us from day one, and that's where the flywheel of evangelism got going, right? So every
Gotcha.
time someone makes a game, they're proud of it, so then they share it, just like TikTok, right? I mean, so once you've created something, you're proud of it, and then you share it, and it keeps going. But it's exactly like the four use cases that we saw that were really stood out to us was the content creators, the
Hmm.
TikTokers. They're making
Hmm.
games on Halloween and Trevor Noah and makeup and all of
Yeah.
that. But then we saw the education use case, the social impact use case, climate action, financial literacy, drug abuse, all of
Right.
these games. But then the training and marketing has been really interesting. So we've had people use their games, and one of the things we're going to allow them to do is, hey, if you play this game 10 facts about my product, then here's a discount code at the end, right?
Gotcha.
Or placement within the games, right? So if you have a background that shows like brand placement, that's something else that opens up. This is
Hmm.
very similar to Sandbox. So if you look
Yes.
at Sandbox's land, I mean, when you look at that zoomed out version and you see Snoop Dogg in there and then you see Republic and everything, that's kind of where the Breshna Carnival kicks in, the Breshnaverse,
Right.
the virtual carnival. Think about all the brand placement within the
Yeah.
virtual carnival that opens up, and all of that. So for us, marketing is going to be our go to market is starting with the build in public, going to our game jams. We've seen game jams be huge, immensely successful. Influencers, obviously, but then also this idea of within the game creating brand placement and marketing.
Yeah, I love it. I think this is one of those layers of technology that we've continued to see in the creation. If you look back at Web 2, there's companies like Squarespace, Wix, some of those that have been the evolvers of do-it-yourself websites, which kind of really revolutionized code and development requirements for building websites. So I think we will see this, in the gaming sector as well. A couple of last questions here. When are you planning? First, how do you make money? What's the main process for revenue for Breshna?
Right. So at the moment, because we're young, so we are venture backed. We just closed an oversubscribed seed round on our equity side. So one of the things we were going to go down, and this is the interesting thing, right, Paul, as a founder who's coming at it from a Web 2 space and now layering this on with Web 3. When we were thinking about Web 2, we were like, oh, freemium models, advertisements, SaaS subscriptions, the usual stuff.
Yep.
And Web3 just like blows it out of the water, because what Web3 does is, first of all, it's inclusive. You bring on everyone. There's a primary sale, right, of the carnival stands, of the NFTs, but then there's the royalty fees on the secondary sales. So just like the sandbox model of revenue, that's what we're moving towards. But at the moment, and this will continue, anyone can go on Breshna.io and create their own video game as of today, and that will remain the same. But then as they go along, they earn tokens, and that engagement, that Web3 model kicks in.
Yeah. So obviously the Web3 model is going to work in the same model that we see other game developers, from token, NFT assets, NFT sales, land sales, et cetera, as things kind of roll out in that. When do you launch the token? What's the roadmap for that?
Absolutely. So we're finalizing our white paper right now. We are going to do a private sale, for that token, and then we're going to launch the token in June. So we're super, super excited about it. Breshna's beta version is launching in March, and then right after that, we're going to do a token launch in June, and we're super psyched about what that means. Because for us, it's the non-tech, non-gamer, non-Web3 people becoming a part. It's breaking the barriers and making the Web3 world and the gaming world accessible for everyone.
All right, last thing, obviously the token potentially, usually the token launch is ahead of either a beta or an alpha version of what would be, in your case, the Web3 version of Breshna. Is that a this year project in terms of the roadmap, 2022?
Absolutely. So, Paul, one of the things it gives us an edge is because the product the game maker has built, we're already building a marketplace. We're already building a reward structure. Because if you think about it, games were one of the first places that had in-game economies, right? So even though it doesn't live on the chain, we're starting to build that infrastructure already. So right after the token launch, we actually expect within a couple of months to be able to have phase 1 ready, which is the NFT marketplace, the ability to contribute and upload, and then also the virtual carnival. So yeah, absolutely, not only this year, but this within the next 6 months.
Yeah. Mariam, it's great having you on the show today. I love diving into new projects like this, because we do find kind of our discovery mechanisms from our producer side of things. And for you guys out there that are looking, maybe you're launching projects or something, make sure and just reach out to us. It's just producer@revernetworks.com. That's one of the places to reach us. But Mariam, been great having you on the show. Thank you again for stopping in.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being game, Paul. And thank you so much. And I hope we continue the conversation.
Excellent. All right. You guys are tuned in over on the podcast right now. This is the place for you guys to come in terms of metaverse content, gaming content, blockchain technology, the advancements of all the mainstream altcoin and blue chip tokens. We do analysis and deep dive all the time. You want to check it out, it's over here on YouTube. And all you have to do is search Paul Barron. You'll find us. And of course, if you have an idea for a show, reach out to us. Let us know. And you can do that at Paul Barron TV on Twitter, or me, just at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.